This is another iRaw podcast.
If being told that your videos are stupid, you suck, how old are you, and you should die, isn't rejection, then I don't know what is. Welcome back to Wildly Rejected, aka Becoming the Bison. This is week 11, and if you're new here, the idea of the challenge is simple. Instead of running away from rejection, I'm heading straight into the storm like a bison. Because somewhere hidden inside all those no's are yeses, weird stories, and growth. This week felt stagnant. The only official update I got was from a film festival rejection, and they didn't even bother sending an email. I found out because I went to the website and saw the update. Honestly, if you're going to reject me, at least give me it directly. An email, fine. Phone call, impressive. A website update that quietly changes the status, that just feels lazy. But despite feeling like nothing happened this week, I did receive what may be the most memorable rejection-related message of this entire challenge. A stranger on Instagram took time out of their day to personally message me. Hey, I just wanted to let you know your post is some of the most stupid... To keep this friendly, I will say poop instead of the S word. Some of the most stupidest poop I've ever seen. Just helping the community by letting you know your videos are poop. How old are you? 80? Still trying to get followers? Laugh crying emoji, just die already then. Your videos suck. Now, before anybody gets upset on my behalf, I did what any curious person would do and looked at their profile. Private account on Instagram. But their threads comments, those were public. And wow, this person appears to spend a significant amount of their free time telling people that they're ugly, pointing out flaws, and explaining why other people deserve bad things. In other words, a professional troll. And it reminds me of something. The enemy doesn't create, he only comes to destroy. This person doesn't make videos, they don't create art, they don't start projects, they don't put themselves out there, they don't risk rejection. They simply sit on the sidelines throwing rocks at people that do. Which brings me to an important lesson. Don't take criticism from someone who isn't creating things themselves. Even if someone is creating, you're still not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And if somebody feels the need to stop scrolling and spend their day trying to tear down a stranger, that says a lot more about them than it does you. And what I found most interesting throughout all this wasn't the message itself, it was my reaction. My husband immediately said, "Don't respond, they're just a troll." And that's probably the correct answer. But I decided I wanted to stand up for myself anyway. Not because they deserved a response or because I thought I was going to change their mind, but because I wanted to prove to myself that I could defend myself without being mean in return. And then immediately reported them because they don't need to be harassing and bullying other people. And surprisingly, that part was easy. What wasn't easy was realizing that some of the things that this person said sounded suspiciously similar to the voice that occasionally lives inside my own head. The stranger was easy to dismiss. The inner critic, that's harder. Which is why I've decided that from now on, the voice in my head the voice in my head now has a name. It's in honor of my first troll, Salomon. Apparently, some therapists and self-help coaches recommend naming your anxiety or your inner critic so that you can separate yourself from it instead of assuming that every thought is true. So now when the voice starts talking, I know exactly who's speaking. Your videos aren't good enough. Thanks, Salomon. Nobody cares. Appreciate the feedback, Salomon. You should quit. Apparently I need another coffee. Noted, Salomon. Interesting thing is that I have no trouble recognizing that the internet troll was wrong. The challenge is now learning to recognize when the troll inside my head is wrong too. Because if a stranger on the internet isn't qualified to define my worth, then why would I let the same message carry weight simply because it came from inside my own head? Speaking of questionable life advice, I also had several companies reach out recently offering to become a podcast agent. One wanted $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month. That's like a whole salary for a lot of people. For context, I probably spend about 10 hours a month on the podcast. At that rate, I'd rather pay myself the hypothetical $350 per hour. Another company wanted to feature me in an article for $200. Nope. Sorry, not sorry. I am not doing the pay to play. But the conversation did bring up something interesting that I've been wrestling with lately. This podcast doesn't make money. I really don't have a strong community around it, and sometimes it feels like I'm just talking into the void. I put a lot of time into creating episodes, reaching out to guests, editing audio, promoting shows, and trying to grow with it. Sometimes I wonder if anybody's actually listening at all. And the thing that keeps me going isn't the downloads. It's the people that I meet and interview. I have met some truly incredible humans throughout this podcast experience. And one of those conversations led to something unexpected. While interviewing author Mark Benson a few months back, I learned about NASA socials. So naturally, I applied for it because of this challenge, and I got accepted. To be honest, I kind of forgot about it because they haven't emailed since. Until yesterday. I received an email saying they were looking for people to attend an upcoming launch event and media experience. So I applied for that too. Will I get selected? I have no idea. But that's exactly why I'm doing this challenge. To see where it will lead me and what kind of crazy things will happen. And if I hadn't met Mark, I would have never heard about NASA socials. And if I had never heard about NASA socials, I would have applied. And if I wouldn't have applied, there'd be a 0 chance of me ending up at a rocket launch. And that's the weird thing about opportunities. They're almost never connected in a straight line. Looking back, they make perfect sense. But living through them, sometimes they can feel random. So while this week felt slow, the tracker tells a different story. The rejection challenge now sits at 136 total asks, 30 acceptances, 30 rejections, and 76 in review. Perfectly balanced for the second week in a row. 30 wins, 30 losses. And a whole lot of uncertainty sitting right in the middle. The truth is, I suspect that one day I'll look back on this entire challenge and think, wow, that was an incredible adventure. But right now, it most definitely feels frustratingly slow. But maybe that's what adventures feel like when you're living through them. Stay tuned. Next week, I'll be talking about NASA, or another rejection, or Salomon. Probably another Salomon. Thanks for joining me on another week of the 1000 Rejection Challenge, Wildly Rejected, aka Becoming the Bison. This week reminded me that not every rejection comes from a contest, publisher, or film festival. Sometimes it comes from strangers, and sometimes it comes from the voice in our own heads. The good news is, neither gets to decide what we create next. Until next time, unplug, get outside, and see what develops. Oh, and before you go, since I'm out of town and I can't do my usual intro and outro music, remember that everything discussed on this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Whether you are trying a new art technique, exploring outdoors, or trying your own rejection challenge, please use common sense, follow all laws and safety guidelines, and take responsibility for your own decisions. Stay safe and stay wild.
For more great iRaw podcasts, visit irawpod.com. That's IROARPOD.com.